Peace and blessings, everybody. The reason why I say that is because peace is a blessing. Hey, it's Pastor Troy Wynn Sr., the senior pastor of the Freedom Church. And I want to take a few minutes just to encourage everybody that needs to be encouraged. So I need you to lean in and share this with a friend because I want to drop some knowledge on you that I believe is going to bless you. In this life, as we deal with people, you got to really pay attention because nobody hates you like the people who say they love you until they can no longer manipulate you. And nobody hates you like the people who have played you and played with you until you wake up and realize that enough is enough and you say game over. Something about those two words, game over. And you may not say that verbatim, game over, but it is the message that you send to everybody who you're no longer going to allow to play with you. You know, that's when these wonderful people who have proclaimed their love for us and proclaimed that we could trust them, they go from being sweet to being salty. I always find it amazing how quickly people can change when they don't get their way, they don't get what they want, or they can no longer manipulate you. You know, those very same people, man, they go from loving to lying. How do we change so fast? How do you go from being cool to being cruel? Make it make sense. Well, I can make it make sense. When you experience such a dynamic shift in relationships, and this is whether you're talking about your family, your friends, or somebody you were dating, or somebody you're married to, you got to recognize that when that shows up, that it didn't just show up, it was there all along. There's fakery in the bakery in a lot of people, and a lot of people are pretending. And they will pretend until they can no longer keep up the facade. And then that's where their true colors begin to show. People get mad when you realize that you're being played or played with. And they love you until you say game over. And when you say game over, they recognize the gig is up. I want to encourage you to take inventory of every relationship in your life. And if you got some people trying to play with you and play in your face, and I don't care who they are, you need to tell them, play on, player. But what you ain't going to do is play here. What you ain't going to do is play with me. And what you ain't going to do is play in my face. Nobody has time to play games. If you love me, love me. If you don't, leave me alone. And if you don't worry about it, because I love me. But the one thing I'm not going to be is I'm not going to be played with. I'm not going to be your play toy. I'm not going to be your plaything. And this is a life principle I live by. And I suggest you live by it too. Why? Because life is way too short to be playing games. Life is way too short to be allowing people to mishandle you, mistreat you, use you, and abuse you. And sometimes you just need to notify them your game is over. At least over here it is. Go somewhere else and play. Go somewhere else and lie. Go somewhere and mistreat somebody. Go somewhere else and call somebody out of their name. Go somewhere else and put somebody else down. You know, I recognize that there's one thing that makes a spider mad. I don't know if you ever thought about a spider. Sometimes outside my window I have a spider web and I can actually see a spider and what he does. And the one thing that makes a spider mad is when it loses what it thought it had caught in its web. Pastor Troy Wynn Sr. Yeah, through this very window, I've seen a fly get caught in a web right outside my window. And boy, that spider be making his way to finish the job and wrap it up. Some way, somehow, that fly get loose, he escapes. And sometimes in life, you get caught in people's webs. That's okay. When you become wise enough to escape that person's web of lies, when you become strong enough to escape that person's web of abuse, And when I talk about abuse, let's not get it twisted. We are talking about physical, but we are also talking about verbal abuse. We're also talking about mental abuse. We're talking about every form of abuse that a person might experience through somebody who says, I love you. You're caught in their web. But don't feel bad. You got a right to break free, especially if they've been weaving a web of broken promises, promise after promise after promise after promise, and that becomes a web of manipulation and you get caught in. You got the right to break free. Just know when you break free, don't nothing make a spider matter when it loses what it thought it had in its web. I want you to understand this, that God did not create you to be on the bottom of nobody's shoe. And God did not create you to be trapped in nobody's web. God created you to be loved. God created you to be valued. But peep game, you have to love yourself. You have to value yourself. And you got to be strong enough to look at some people, mind I even say some spiders, and say toodles. I'm out. Deuces. Enough is enough. Especially, and let me throw this caveat out here for you, so you don't feel guilty and you don't feel bad. You don't feel manipulated. Sometimes we manipulate our own selves back into the web. When you have given people an opportunity, multiple opportunities to show you who they are, you've given them multiple opportunities to self-correct. You accepted the apology the first time. You accepted the I'm sorry 29 times. You accepted the promises that I'm going to do better. Things are going to change. I won't do that again. You can trust me. And you have given that person a multiplicity of opportunities to show you who they really are. Just know this. They have. They did. They have shown you who they are. They did show you who they are. Now, it's time for you to look and label and move accordingly. Why? Because life is too short to waste whatever time you got left on this planet caught in somebody's web. I pray that this blesses you and not just you. I pray this reaches nations. I pray that you will take this video and the words in it and recognize that this is a message from the Almighty Himself. This is God speaking to all of us, saying, know your worth, know your value, and never allow anybody to treat you like you're not the one. Have a blessed day. This is Pastor Troy Wynn Sr., the senior pastor of the Freedom Church in the fantastic city of Warner Robins, Georgia. Have a blessed day, everybody.